You guys are always asking us,
Kyle, Sam, what are the best neighborhoods in Colorado Springs?
well, legally we can't tell you that, but we can relay some information to you. So if you'd like to follow along with some of this information, you're going to see a bunch of stuff popping up on the old screeny screen here from one of our favorite websites. It's really a fantastic resource. It's called niche.com, Niche.
There you go.
Yeah. And we're going to talk through the 5 best neighborhoods. They're actually the 5 highest rated neighborhoods per niche.com. And what they're kind of looking at is they look at a myriad of things. They're looking at school districts, places to work, a little bit of diversity, just the neighborhood itself. And it's kind of strange. You can actually like go on there and like leave your own review of a place that you've lived or gone to school or whatever. So it's a little bit of a community feel there.
There's like a million other filters on there.
Yeah.
I do want to say, like, best neighborhoods is like so subjective to everyone else, right? Like, or to each individual person.
Yeah.
It's why we can't say like, oh, these are the best neighborhoods. But you can go on there. It's publicly available information, and you can filter through so many different filters to be able to see what might be the best match for you.
So why watch this video? Because we will provide you with a little bit more insight, a little bit more of like what's there in case you can't get there on your own, which is probably why you're watching this video. So without further ado, I'm Kyle Pettit. This is Sam Leving. We are Explore Colorado Springs. Thanks for being here. So we're gonna do this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, obviously, and let you know what the number 1 rated neighborhood is. But we're gonna start with number 5, which is our number 1. But your number 5,
Monument.
That
is numero uno in this video. It's like 8 to 10,000 people that live up there. It's about 15 to 20 minutes north of Colorado Springs, set right alongside I-25. Monument kind of proper is over on the west side, so some things that people love about this neighborhood: you're super close to the mountains right there. Mm-hmm. You're super close to the mountains, so the views can be absolutely beautiful, but it also gives you really great access to all of I-25, right? And that's another feature people absolutely love about the neighborhood, is if you got to be traveling back and forth to the Springs in Denver, it can be a really good spot to live in right there.
Yeah, I think quite a few people during the COVID era actually moved down from Denver to the Monument area because of that, because they wanted to get out of the big city and but they still wanted like relatively decent access. So from Monument, you're probably, I mean, it depends on where you're going in Denver. Obviously, Denver's huge, but you're probably 40 minutes to the southern end of Denver, which is not bad at all. And you're also close to like Castle Rock, which is where the outlets are, big bonus.
Super close to the North Gate sort of interchange sort of area, so all your shopping and dining that you need all your shopping, dining, entertainment that you need is going to be right there. 5 minutes away, maybe something like that. So.
Yep. And then so just for perspective, and you can see it on the map here, is you've got the Air Force Academy, and then about like 10-ish minutes north of the Academy is where Monument is. Again, west side of the road. Now I will say, in my opinion, one of the lesser good things about Monument is there's not a lot of food options up there.
Not a ton.
In Monument, specifically. Yeah, you've got the whole InterQuest like Beltway or whatever you want to call it. Beltway just sounded fancy. It's not actually a Beltway, but it basically could be.
We'll go with it.
Parkway.
Yeah.
You do have all of that, but like in Monument specifically, there's like some chains, some small chains, fast food. There are 2 places. There's a place that I actually really do like that's a very local spot. It's called Black Bear Diner.
Oh, yeah. No.
Black Forest Diner.
There you go.
Black Forest
Bistro.
Black Forest Bistro.
There you go. We got it.
Black Forest Bistro. We worked through it, guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And they actually have super good burgers. So like Monument, there's kind of this like old downtown area for Monument, which is, I guess, weird to say, but
a little pedestrian area.
Yeah, that's where the Black Forest Bistro is. Super good burgers, super good soup. There's also, I actually can't remember the name of it, but there's also like a distillery up there for moonshine.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know about this. I know one of my favorite breweries in town originates from up there. They have a second location now.
hold on. This just in. Hey, Jamie. Oh, sorry. Jamie just looked it up for us. He's on loan from Joe Rogan right now. It's the bistro on 2nd, but we're actually talking about Black Forest Deli.
Yes. Two good food options.
Yeah, so Black Forest Deli is really spectacular. Thanks, Jamie. You're glad you could be in town today to help us out with that. Good grief. Anywho, but yeah, there's like some moonshine distillery up there. I can't remember what it's called, but
Pikes Peak Brewery, one of my favorite breweries.
oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely love it. That's
Awesome.
the best beer in the city.
And then school systems up there. So up there, your school district 38,
Yep.
right, which is Lewis Palmer. Per niche.com, that is it's third best, but still, like, you know, what's interesting is like we actually have all across Colorado Springs really good school systems.
Yeah.
The majority per the website, the majority have like an A or a B rating, and like a B rating is not bad.
No.
It's just that there's also so many that have an A rating here. So sometimes that kind of like throws people off. But yeah, you've got Lewis Palmer High School up there, which is a super good school.
Palmer Ridge High School.
Yep.
I forget the elementary and middle schools up there, but also a part of
Nobody
that school
cares.
system.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
We all care about the high schools. But yeah, so that is Monument. I think otherwise, one of like the little sub areas up there is like Forest Lake. So you've got Monument Ice Arena is up there just north of Forest Lakes. That's the reason I bring it up.
And if you haven't checked out that video, we got a great tour on Forest Lakes.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you go and check that out.
Yeah, and you can kind of see what the neighborhoods are like. However, guys, before we move on, we do want to remind you guys that this is Explore Colorado Springs. This is where we talk about all things Colorado Springs, Colorado, where to eat, sleep, live, work, play, roll around in the dirt, have so much fun, and live your freaking best life. We are the guys that will answer the phone call down below if you are looking to move out here. You can call, text, email. People do it all the time. We absolutely love it. We like helping people move here. We like making the transition good. And we also love making this content for you guys. So if you want to go ahead and hit the like button to help other people that are in search find it, go ahead and do so. Also go ahead and hit that subscribe and the bell button so that you can be notified. We post twice a week. We've got neighborhood tours, we've got restaurant reviews, we've got all kinds of stuff. So we're really just trying to provide some value to you guys. But at the end of the day, we want to help make your move smooth. We want to make it easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So feel free to reach out. Or if it's easiest for you, there's a Calendly link below and you can just hit that thing and schedule an appointment with us.
That's right.
Moving on though.
Moving on, neighborhood number 2 is Black Forest, Colorado.
Yeah, Black Forest. So what you're noticing is you're like, what? Is that Colorado Springs? Well, Colorado Springs has grown enough that a lot of these places are basically connecting. Yeah. So like, they're not like their own individual little places, but these are definitely well established neighborhoods, especially Black Forest. So Black Forest is in the northeast end of Colorado Springs, and the namesake is why it exists, because there's a big old forest up here.
There is.
Big old forest of pines, and if you can see through this window, we are sitting in them pines.
That's right.
I don't know why I felt like I had to talk like I was from West Virginia when I said that, but here we are. So Black Forest, up in the northeast. Fun fact about Black Forest is the weather out here is bananas.
Yes.
So it'll snow more, it'll hail more, it'll rain more, but it's because the terrain is rising. So as you go from like, we'll say Manitou, which is kind of southwest corner, all the way up to the northeast, it actually raises like 1,000 feet, which is crazy. Black Forest is like at 7,000 feet.
Yeah, I think like in the Springs, downtown Colorado Springs, we're at 6,035, 6,035. Up here in Black Forest, we're closer to like 7,200, 7,300, something like that. Yeah, so it makes for weather patterns that are super interesting, because I'll text Chris, who lives out here, on a snow day and be like, hey man, we got like 3 inches. Are you guys doing okay up there? And, you know, they'll get 12, 16 inches.
Yeah, it's pretty bananas.
Here, yeah.
I will say though, so Black Forest is a lot different, and
Yeah.
it is really nice. There's some pros and cons to it. So when you come out to Black Forest, one of the things that you have to understand, at least about the housing, is it's not suburbia. You are not living next to your neighbors. You're not living on a busy street.
For the most part.
For the most part. Obviously, there's like kind of this edges of it that you have that a little bit, but most of it is parceled land.
Yeah, it's got a pretty rural feel to it. Most of it's going to be 5-acre lots plus. Like we mentioned, you do have some of those subdivisions where you're looking at like an acre, 2.5-acre lot, something like that. But for the vast majority, it's a huge geographic area. Most people are going to have 5+ acre lots. So it's got that rural feel, which is why people who want to live in the Black Forest area will come out here. And one of the cons is you're kind of trading commute time, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, super trading commute time. I mean, for Chris to get from Black Forest down to where we work downtown Colorado Springs,
Or
it's
for
like,
us to get here to
or
film
to,
videos.
yeah, or to get here, it's like a 40-minute commute.
Yeah.
And like, that might not sound that long, but that's far.
Yeah, every single day, 40 minutes. Like, I don't know. You know, we get clients moving from California, New York, like all these, you know, Chicago, all that stuff. So like a 40-minute commute might not be a lot for you.
But once you move to a place like Colorado Springs where you're like, oh, it's like 7 miles, and you're like, yeah, but, and it starts taking you that long, it feels weird. But when you're coming out here, you are driving on a lot of country roads, or county roads rather. You do lose service a couple times. It's kind of weird. Yeah. And also you just have to be aware that like when you're buying groceries, like you're going to also drive in somewhere to get groceries. There's not a grocery store like within 5 minutes of most places. The quintessential areas of Black Forest, they just don't exist. So
no. Now the saving grace is like, depending on where you live in the forest, you can still be somewhat close to some of the amenities that you want to be. So 15-20 minutes to Northgate from probably here, which is kind of like center of Black Forest, right?
Yeah.
15-20 minutes over to like Falcon, where you're going to have some of those things like grocery stores and a little bit more like shopping, dining, entertainment options. You know?
Now out here though, because you have those acreage, you have lots of land, the houses are definitely significantly more expensive. I mean, it is pretty rare to find anything in Black Forest under $1 million.
Yeah.
And not only that, something that you also just need to understand is that for most places in Black Forest, you will not see the mountains.
Yeah. I mean, if you, like, a lot of people move out here because they want to be on treed lots too, right? And treed lots carry a premium out here as far as the price goes. If you're on a treed lot, unless you cut a swath of your trees down, which you probably don't want to do, you're most of the time not going to have an amazing mountain view. Yep,
it's just the reality. School districts.
Yes. So typically, for a pretty large swath of Black Forest, you're going to be included in District 38. Now, there's some other parts of Black Forest that creep into District 20, District 49, which is Falcon School District. You do have school choice here in Colorado Springs, so you can kind of choose your district there. There's caveats with that, so make sure you check out that video. But for the most part, you're going to be included in District 38, which is the same as Monument School District. So Lewis Palmer, Palmer Ridge, all the elementary schools and middle schools that are included in D38 are what you are going to automatically be opted into. So another great school district if you choose to live out here.
Truth. All right, moving on. This is area number 3. It is actually, it's one of my favorite personal neighborhoods in Colorado Springs.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I really, really love this area, and it is actually kind of sandwiched between Black Forest and Monument. Number 3, Woodmore. Woodmore is so awesome.
Very cool neighborhood.
Yeah, where it exists on the map is literally across the highway from Monument. So it's just on the east side of I-25 there. And it kind of pushes in. It's interesting if you look at like the little, like the terrain type of map, because you can kind of see the line of trees, and Woodmore pushes into it. Now it's not all in there. Most of what's not in the trees is, well, I guess that's not totally accurate, but is a lot of like, there's a lot more condos and like apartments kind of like right when you get off the highway.
Right.
But when you get into like the real neighborhoods of Woodmore, oh my gosh, some of the coolest houses, some old, 70s, 80s builds, but you still have the opportunity for like treed lots. You still have acreage. You still have these really, really unique, really cool looking spaces. And you actually still, like, there is a chance that you might have views of the mountains in Woodmore because it's on the western edge of the Black Forest. Yeah.
Yep. And you have like some really cool terrain in there compared to kind of the rest of Black Forest, right? Like a lot of Black Forest is really flat. When you get into Woodmore, you've got like some more hills and kind of, features and terrain kind of features to the neighborhood, which is really cool.
Yeah. Another really great thing out there. Now, I've never been there because I am not a golfer, so maybe this is more up your alley.
Yes.
But the old Woodmore Country Club.
Yes. I've also never been there because I ain't got that kind of money.
But Woodmore Country Club,
It is cool.
It's so beautiful. I mean, and it's another reason that people move up there, not specifically for the country club, but they want to live close to it and they want to have good access. Because, otherwise, like another major country club, for example, is like Flying Horse. But in Flying Horse, you're like sandwiched on top of everybody. So Woodmore gives you still that opportunity to kind of have a little bit of acreage, have some space, have some incredible views, have some trees. I think it's like a place where you kind of get a little bit of all of it.
Yes. And again, convenience factor, right?
Yeah.
So like sandwiched in between Black Forest and Monument, you're a heck of a lot closer in Woodmore to all the amenities that you might want to be close to than you are in Black Forest.
Yeah, absolutely. So Woodmore, right there on the east side, those houses, it's common. I think the median is 8 to 850 is the median price. And just for the record, if you ever see a house, we saw a house pop up. We were looking last fall, and we saw a house pop up on the market. They were just trying to like get rid of it quick. It was listed at $575, and the amount of competing offers that came in. I mean, it kind of needed some love, like for real, but it ended up selling for $700,000 cash, right? Because like somebody just recognized and they were like, we want it. Everybody was going out there. I remember the listing agent was just saying like, it was unbelievable trying to manage the amount of phone calls that were coming in because it's that desirable of a neighborhood. It's also obviously right across from Monument, so it's also still District 38. But again, really, really great school district up there. You're not going to be wrong if you're in that area.
And it's why it's ranked number 3 according to Niche. Like you have all those reviews on this neighborhood. People really love that neighborhood. But moving on to number 4 on the list. Number 2 overall, number 4 on our list is Palmer Lake. So Palmer Lake is located just northwest a little bit of Monument, right?
I'm sensing a trend here.
I know, seriously. Again, really, really cool little area up there. Palmer Lake is tucked into, I don't even know if you could call it like a valley. It's just like its own little dip and sort of valley in the mountains. Right up against like, Mount Herman and like some of those areas back there. So a couple of reasons why people love this area. The community up there is really small, really tight-knit community. There's tons of trails and, hiking space, just all the outdoor stuff that you want to do up there. What school district is this going to be located in? This is still...
It's still 38.
Yeah.
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 So 38 reaches pretty far, and that's because Palmer Lake area, it's not super populous. It's less than 7,000 people in Palmer Lake.
Pretty tiny area.
And it does have a namesake. There is a little lake there. Now,
there's several lakes.
Yeah, if you ever watch any of our videos, you know that when we talk about lakes, you got to just temper your expectations because it is not, we're not looking at the Hoover Dam. This ain't Lake Powell.
No.
But Palmer Lake is a nice little space up there. It's got little beaches around it. People go fishing it. People stand up paddleboard. It's a really nice, peaceful, relaxing. I've noticed in Palmer Lake, especially right around the lake, it really has kind of like that old, we moved here, we settled right around the lake. We knew this was a really cute spot. It's kind of interesting that it's not like all super connected, right? There's still a little bit of a gap there between, I guess, Monument and Palmer Lake.
Yeah.
And Palmer Lake doesn't have a ton of amenities. Like,
no.
Obviously there's grocery stores, there's your hardware stores and stuff like that. But Palmer Lake is not a place that like most people in Colorado Springs have probably not even been to Palmer Lake, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, it's a very quaint little area there, and kind of its own thing that really is kind of separated from Colorado Springs, even though it's right here in our metro area.
Yep.
So really cool little area up there, really pretty area up there. And that's, I think, that's probably the biggest reason why it's number 2 on the list. Now, when we're talking about housing up in that area, you're paying some pennies for a house up there.
You are paying some pennies, and not only that, it's the location, but it's also just because of availability. There's not a lot,
Right.
But also you have to be aware that when you're selling your house up there, there's also a little bit less competition from buyers, because not a lot of buyers, even if they can afford it, they're not all trying to move up to Palmer Lake. I think it really is a place that, like, you either are really happy with a commute, or you're living in Denver, or you work remotely, or you work on like the north side of town.
Yeah.
Because Palmer Lake is separated enough. Like from the academy, it's 23 minutes, I think, from the Air Force Academy, which is generally kind of the northern end of Colorado Springs proper anyway. It's like another 20 to 23 minutes just to get into Palmer Lake. So the houses are more expensive though, because they're like Sam was saying, they're tucked back, they're around that lake, they're really quaint, they're cute. Lots of little cottages that are really adorable. But yeah, they're not cheap.
No, absolutely not. So now, moving on to the number 1 area as rated per niche.com.
If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please go ahead and do that. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification.
Yes,
And
this one.
Now we're ringing the bell for number 1.
This one kind of surprised me.
It actually did, and I was like, what? But then when you look at why, you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Glen Eagle.
Yes.
Glen Eagle. Most people probably couldn't even identify Glen Eagle on the map because it's not a super popular name.
Yeah.
Like you've got your North Gates and your Briar Gates and your Monument, and like all these ones that we've listed. So Glen Eagle is right across from the academy.
Yeah.
Right. So like you've got the Air Force Academy here, you've got I-25 running north-south, and then right across there is like Glen Eagle, and it stretches pretty far north, and it kind of goes over to North Gate and over to Briar Gate.
Kind of northern boundary would be like southern edge of Monument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Glen Eagle is, I think one of the reasons that it is so highly rated is, well, number 1 is it's actually District 20. Yeah. So District 20 is the number 2 rated school district behind District 12. But District 12 is like all the way southwest. But you see this trend here is that most of what's happening, most of the growth and happiness and the highest rated areas are the more north that you go. So Glen Eagle definitely falls into that. In District 20, you have the classical academies, and they have like elementary, middle school, high school, classical, whatever. My favorite high school in all of Colorado Springs, which sounds like a weird thing to say, is called the Village High School. That's part of District 20. The Village High School is a public high school, but it's like I remember like the first couple of times that I went there, I went to go teach a personal finance, like real estate course, but I was like, this is a public school?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It's very different, very non-traditional.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid kind of online, in person. It's like a very college light, and it's because you have a lot of athletes like that train at the Olympic Training Center, and so there's some of the makeup right there. So anyway, District 20 is a really, really popular school district, especially because a lot of people want to live on that north side, and it's technically rated higher than District 38. And so they're like, well, I swear, I have so many people that are like, I want to be in District 20.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
So, but what else is in Glen Eagle that I'm not thinking of right now?
Yeah, so not a ton besides houses.
Yeah.
Honestly. Right? Like
I think it's the access.
Yeah. You've still got super close access to I-25 and super close access to like all of the Powers Corridor and everything headed down southeast from Glen Eagle. So it's super close access to all of that, plus the schools that are there, right? So some other notable schools in D20 that are included in that would be like Pine Creek, Rampart, Liberty, some of those schools, and people really want their kids to be fed into those schools, right? Remember, this isn't just us arbitrarily saying like these are the best neighborhoods in Colorado Springs. This is per people's rankings themselves, people who actually live there. These are their rankings on niche.com. So again, super popular area. As far as housing goes, it's also, again, not the cheapest area, you know. Really, kind of when I think about that, you're probably in that.
Yeah, I had to look it up because so the median, I looked at the median sold price for the last 6 months, which was $720,000.
That's what I was going to say.
So that's the median sold. But what's crazy is that like the cheapest place up there is like 200, that's for sale right now, is like $250,000, but it goes all the way up to like $5.5 million or $5.3 million.
Jeez.
So Glen Eagle, even in this really, really small space, like, yeah, I mean, that's a wide variety, and it's a little bit as you get further away from the highway. That's, I think, one of the reasons why it was surprising to me that Glen Eagle was number one, was because
it's right up against the highway.
Yeah, it's right off the highway, but there's so much there. And one of the things that we haven't really talked about yet, although I kind of mentioned it with Palmer Lake, is there is a lot of job opportunity there.
Yeah, there is.
In Glen Eagle, a lot of job opportunity there and or within 5 to 7 minutes from Glen Eagle. And so it makes it so that not only adults have places to work, I think like the median or the average household income there is like $130,000 a year.
Yeah.
But like also there's plenty of places for your kids to work too if they're in high school and that's what they're doing. So a lot of good opportunity, and you're right across from the Air Force Academy. And then all of these will be right, this will be fun. All of them are right in the neighborhood area of where the amphitheater is going to be built, if assuming that all gets approved.
Yeah.
And so there is going to be a huge amphitheater built out here, and it is going to be on that north side of town. But there have already been, there's already a little significant amount of pushback.
Going
yeah,
on
some
there.
pushback there because music and loud noises. So, anywho, that is the 5 best neighborhoods according to niche.com. Look. Interestingly enough, if you want to learn more about any of the other neighborhoods, we've got a ton more. We got videos on, the best bang for your buck, understanding more. We do neighborhood tours of all the neighborhoods. We're currently working kind of counterclockwise right now, but you can check out those videos, and we cover a lot that we didn't cover in this video. So continue looking, watch those videos. And again, if you need anything, feel free to reach out, call, text, email, schedule via the Calendly link. We would love to chat with you and welcome you to this unbelievable city of Colorado Springs. Peace, love, and chicken grease.